What's going on, guys? So today is going to be the last day that we have the 2025 Ram Limited truck with that super powerful inline six gas engine. This has been a really nice truck to drive. I would honestly tell you, when we compare it against the Denali or even our F450, the interior of this truck feels the warmest, the coziest, and I would arguably say the most beautiful of any of them by far. So that's the biggest perk that I think this truck has going for it. But it has a lot of other ones. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so when you compare the high-trim Ford to the high-trim GMC to the high-trim Ram, you can definitely see where Ram probably carries the highest bar in terms of interior design and fit and finish. Bar none. It just simply feels amazing inside of this truck. Ride comfort-wise, I can honestly tell you that it is the smoothest, most plush riding half-ton truck I've ever been in, and that kind of holds true for all of these half-ton Rams with the full air suspension setup on them. They just ride incredibly smooth, and I think anybody with a Ram with air suspension would probably agree that they kind of set the bar way high compared to any of these other trucks. Now, if I'm comparing the two closest competitors here, and that would be the 2023 GMC Denali that we have versus the Limited, I would have to say that if I were going to spend money on one of these trucks again, if they had the EcoDiesel still available for the Ram, we probably would get the Ram. I'm not going to say anything negative against the GMC in terms of what truck I like more, but I'm just going to tell you that from a ride comfort perspective, from how comfortable the seats are, from the technology that's included in this truck, it would be my first choice. And that would even be if I compared it against a Denali Ultimate, which our truck is not a Denali Ultimate. A few of the things that are missing from this truck that you get with the Denali Ultimate would be the retractable side steps. They come out versus down. I like the ones that come down. They give you more of a step to step on, and I think it's more of a platform versus just a step that comes out a little bit. Massaging seats is another one that's missing from our Denali that you get with the Denali Ultimate versus this truck, which has the massaging seats. But again, even if I got the massaging seats in the Denali Ultimate, I still don't feel as if the seats are as comfortable as the Ram. Fuel economy wise, the baby Duramax on here is the champion any way you slice it. It gets amazing fuel economy, amazing range, and the inline six, as powerful as it is, as torquey as it is, it just doesn't really compare in terms of fuel economy to the Denali. And that matters because this truck accelerates more than what we would need. This truck absolutely has the power and the torque we need for how we would use it. This truck has a tremendous amount of power and torque, but you do sacrifice fuel economy for that. And I don't know if they could make this a more fuel economical vehicle, but as it stands, if I compared the two, I would say that the Denali definitely wins in terms of that specific area. Again, if they offered this with an EcoDiesel, that would be game-changing because now we would have two trucks that are very similar in terms of fuel economy numbers, and we would have a truck here that would have a more comfortable interior or more comfortable ride with some really interesting features that I think stand out. Now, I made a video on the tailgate wars between the two trucks. You have the Multi-Pro, Multi-Flex tailgate from GM and Chevrolet, and then you have the multi-purpose tailgate here from Ram. I personally like the GMC and Chevrolet tailgate better. I think it's a better design. I think it does all the things that you want a tailgate to do and then some. This tailgate gives you a few great perks, such as getting really close to the bed of your truck if you want to, but the sacrifice here is that the barn style doors are really only useful for that. That's the biggest perk you get from that. The step up into the tailgate is okay. You have a step down off the bottom, but still the way they execute it with the Multi-Pro, Multi-Flex tailgate you get from General Motors, I think is a better design. In terms of mirrors, the mirrors to me are pretty much the same on both trucks. This truck did not come with any type of a spot mirror. This truck did. So Ram definitely gets the extra star there. Also, the fact that I get the 12-volt outlets in this truck and I don't get any in the GMC is a big difference as well. And one additional perk that I like about the Ram is that you get a 110 outlet up front, and then you get one behind the center console. On the GMC, you get one in the center console and you get one in the back of the truck. Now, some people would say I'd rather have one in the back of the truck than one behind the center console for the backseat passengers, but in my experience and what I've used them for, I would prefer to have both of them inside of the truck. It would be nice to have one in the bed, but I would take the second one inside of the truck versus the one in the back of the bed of the truck here. We just don't use this one enough to justify it, to be honest. And if we needed to, we could always pull power from the plug there using an extension cord, I think the way most people would. They're both rated at 400 watts, so you're not getting a power increase of one over the other. You're not getting like the 2,000 watt onboard power system that you get with Ford. And even greater than that if you get some of the crazy power systems that are available from Ford. Now again, when we bought the GMC, this was our money. We paid at MSRP for it. I didn't pay over like we did on the Ford F450 because this was a little bit easier to find than the F450, but it was still a pretty difficult truck to find. And when we found one with the baby Duramax in it, we jumped on it, paid at MSRP for this truck. The price difference between the two trucks is pretty significant. So this truck was right at $73,000. This truck is $86,000. So you are paying over $10,000 more, which definitely puts it more in the realm of what a Denali Ultimate would cost. But I also tend to see greater discounts on Ram trucks versus GMC trucks. So even though this carries a higher price, it seems as if you'd probably be able to get it discounted to where an Ultimate might be in that price range. But they're all pretty much the same price now. You can't really say that if you go out and buy a Ram, you're saving a ton of money versus a GMC versus a Chevy versus a Ford. Right now, if you want to get the highest spec trim from any of these manufacturers, you're going to be in the $80,000 plus range. And that's just the fact of the matter. You know, if it's a $1,000 difference in price, I think when you're spending upwards of 80 to 85 grand, that's not that big of a deal. You might be willing to pay $1,000 more to have a certain brand you like with a certain feature versus another. And for example, if you wanted to pay for a Denali Ultimate with air suspension, you can get that versus the Ram, which has air suspension with the limited package, and I don't believe Ford offers air suspension on any of their trims. That said, though, in my opinion, again, if I were doing it over again today and we were going to pay for a truck again, I would probably still opt for the GMC Denali only because of the baby Duramax engine in it. Fuel economy does matter. Some people say that it doesn't, and I'm sure it doesn't matter as much if you're only getting a truck for towing, like on our F450. If you're getting something big designed to tow, you need that horsepower, you need that torque, then the F450 is going to be a choice somebody makes because they want that power, they want that torque, they want that ability to tow heavy trailers. But when you're talking about the half-ton segment, I think rarely towing is like the number one reason people pick a half-ton truck. They pick it because they want a big bed that they can load stuff in. They want to be able to maybe tow a small utility trailer. They want to be able to throw things inside of the truck that allow you to use it as a truck. They want the people moving capability, the crew cab, fit an entire family. They want smoothness. They want a comfortable ride. They want modern technology that they might see in an SUV or a luxury car. You want all these things in a half-ton truck, regardless of what trim you get, whether it's a base model trim all the way up to super luxury trim. But at the same time, you also want good fuel economy. You want to know that if I put fuel inside my vehicle, I can get, 500, 600, 700 miles range out of it. And the Duramax certainly gives you that. Some of these other trucks just don't unless they give you a huge fuel tank to compensate for their fuel economy numbers. And I say this because I hate putting fuel in a vehicle. That to me is like the biggest waste of time ever, having to stop at a gas station and just stand there to put fuel inside of a vehicle, especially if you're traveling. And the least number of times I need to do that matter to me. It's a huge deal. And if I can travel back and forth all over the place, put a ton of miles on a vehicle without having to stop that often to put fuel in the vehicle, worry about where I'm getting that fuel from, worrying about the quality of that fuel, and worrying about how far I can actually get until I have to refuel again, that matters to me. It may not matter to some people, but I think your typical half-ton shopper is looking for a truck that gets really good fuel economy, while at the same time, when you can do that with a diesel, get that diesel sound, get that diesel torque, get that diesel feel, and you get the range that you're looking for, it just makes sense. That's why I'm still really confused why Ram dropped the EcoDiesel. I think that they should bring it back. I truly think that fuel economy does matter when it comes to half-ton trucks. Maybe not so much with 3/4 ton and up trucks, as we can clearly demonstrate with the F450, where the best fuel economy numbers I'm likely to get on that truck might be 16.5 miles per gallon. The reality behind owning a pickup truck is you get the size of pickup truck you need for the way you plan on using it, and fuel economy matters to me. But does it matter to you? Leave a comment below. Now that you've been able to see all the videos I've done on the Ram Limited 2025, that new straight 6 gas engine, the perks of it, how it tows, how this thing feels, how it rides, what it looks like, all of the interior features, all of that stuff. I've done videos on this truck, and I've done videos on several Fords. In your opinion, what truck would you spend your money on if they were all the same price and they were all at the same level of luxury trim? Guys, leave a comment below. I'd love to know your feedback. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon before the cicadas get any louder.